Welcome. View from the Sidelines, Stateside, another episode. I'm joined by Justin, all the way from Chicago. Top man. I'm going to let him introduce himself, where you can find him on different platforms and whatnot. So, Justin, take it away, mate.
Yeah, thanks, James. Appreciate it. Yeah, Justin Wasik here in the States in Chicago. Been a West Ham fan since the 14-15 season, and love the club very much. And where you can find me on social media, Twitter at just Wasik, just_Wasik. I think you can see it there. And I also run a more of an analytical focused Twitter handle called @BubblesStats with a friend of mine, Charlie, who's out in London, focusing on putting out some, like I said, stats related, analytics related tweets there. So go follow us there. But yeah, you'll usually see me tweeting from either my personal account or that account. And
Good man, mate. Good man. Obviously, I've got you on today, this evening, UK time, to talk about West Ham 3, Arsenal 3, Justin. First of all, I'll start off at the beginning. What did you think of the team lineup from David Moyes?
Yeah, it was an attacking lineup. It's the lineup that I think we all called out for, especially after the way we set up against United. I had no questions or no complaints about it, especially against an Arsenal side who, they are one of the big six clubs, but they have been fairly inconsistent this season. So, and especially their defense has been very inconsistent and poor at times. So, I thought that we needed to set up in a way that we would take it to them, and I think we did that.
Yeah, mate, I agree. I agree with the lineup. The lineup was bang on the money, I think. Attacking, pace, width, everything I wanted in the team, if I'm honest. Right, we kick off the game, Justin. Jesse Lingard scores the first goal. First of all, what have you made of him since he's arrived at West Ham? And second of all, what did you think of his performance yesterday?
I mean, he's surpassed all of our expectations, I feel. And he's just been an excellent signing. I don't think that we're where we are in the. I don't think we'd be fifth without him. I think that's pretty evident. So yeah, it's been a great signing. What a goal! What a goal it was! It was well taken. A good pass from Antonio, and Lingard had a lot to do with it. Still, he took it down, little off the half volley, and then you see from the angle how it just spun away from Leno. Yeah, excellent goal. So yeah, I mean he's been brilliant for us, and we have to find a way to make his move permanent in the summer.
100%, mate. 100% agree with you. We need to go to Manchester. We need to pay the money, and on when the window opens, the man needs to be signed. Signed, still delivered. 100%. Again, that man again makes the assist for the second goal. Quick thinking, passed it to Bowen. Bowen comes in, shoots, scores. 2-0 up, dreamland. What was you thinking, Justin?
Yeah, it's interesting because the commentators didn't mention this, and maybe I was just seeing things, but as Lingard's walking up or jogging up to the ball, you see Bowen there on the right, and again, I'd have to look at the replay again, but it looks like Bowen does something or nods to him or gives him a little point. And maybe they were communicating, maybe not. I don't know. But it looked like there was a little communication there. I mean, really quick thinking. It seemed, if you look at the replay, it seemed that both players, obviously Lingard making the pass was ready to make that move, but it seemed that Bowen, he was already sort of making the run before Lingard even touched the ball. So I think there was some sort of unspoken agreement between the two players, if you will. Yeah, quick thinking, really fun goal. And then awful goalkeeping by Leno. I don't think it was that great of a shot. And to let it go underneath his hands at his near post, as a keeper is pretty unacceptable. But But yeah, it was also good to see Bowen get on the score sheet. He hadn't scored for a while. His form had been, he'd had a dip in form over the last month or so. So it was good to see the ball in the back of the net, and that could give a player an immense amount of confidence moving forward.
Totally agree, mate. I thought Bowen was back to not his best, but it was a much better Bowen yesterday, for sure. Yeah, for sure, mate. Then we get the third goal. Antonio headers the ball towards the goal, clips off Souček. We're 3-0 up. I think we're all in disbelief and everything. What was you thinking at 3-0?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I will say that when, and you could even see Antonio's reaction. Antonio thought Souček was offside, as did I. And so I thought it was going to be called back, and I was hoping and praying that Souček was somehow onside, and he was by the slimmest of margins. It was beautiful timing. But yeah, when I saw that and I saw that the goal had been given, I was, you think, well, it might be done and dusted. And I thought if we can get to halftime 3-0, we should be good. But as we'll talk about in a bit, we couldn't do that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Justin. If we get to 3-0 half-time, I don't think we draw this game. I think we win this game comfortable in my eyes. Obviously, we're going to get to it now. The Lacazette goal, takes a shot, going miles wide, clips off Souček, top corner, 3-1. They're back in the game.
Yeah.
When it goes 3-1, Justin, I'm going to ask you this. Did you fear for us at 3-1?
A bit, but I thought our defense has been so good all season long. I thought we can hold this lead. Deep down, I thought we could. If this was last year's team, no, I would have definitely thought. I mean, we'd probably lose this game, to be honest. But no, definitely a little nervy heading into the half, and we definitely needed the halftime whistle. But I thought, Dawson's been solid. Diop's been pretty solid too. As a team, we haven't given up that many goals. So I was mainly confident that we would hold the lead heading into the half.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree with you totally here. I've got a message here from Forge from Irons. I'd like to play it. Chaps, why was Coventry not at least on the bench? He scored for the under-23s on Friday. Would he have been not provided the legs that Noble Sally did not have in midfield? I will get to Noble a little bit later on, but that's a great point from Forge from Irons there. We get to half-time. We're 3-1 up. I think I was over the moon. I was over the moon, but as a West Ham fan, I know that we've got a tendency of going back to the old West Ham way, and that's slipping leads away. At half-time, how was you feeling?
Yeah, similar to you. I mean, definitely would have taken a 3-1 halftime lead before the match, obviously. But yeah, always nervous. You just think, man, they Arsenal were growing into the game, heading into the half. They were definitely the better side in the last 10 minutes, and you thought, hopefully we can regroup for the second half. Otherwise, if we have to endure another 45 minutes of that, what we saw in the last 10 minutes from Arsenal, there may be a chance that we give up an equalizer eventually, which is, obviously what happened. So, but overall at half, I was still confident. But yeah, in the back of your head as a West Ham fan, you're just like, well, there's a chance that things can go awry.
That is it, mate. I must admit, second half we come out and Arsenal completely run us ragged for the first, basically the whole half, really. But I'm going to get to it. First of all, I'm going to get to a few things. First of all, we'll get to the referee. When the referee lets the ball, gives the free kick, Jesse Lingard and Said Benrahma are running through 2-on-2. Explain to me, Justin, why the referee has not let that carry on.
I can't explain it. I do not understand what happened. At first, I thought he called a foul on us, Arsenal ball. And then when I realized that wasn't the case, I still to this day have no idea what he was doing. I will say this unequivocally. I know, especially after the Mike Dean fiasco a month or two ago, John Moss is the worst referee in the Premier League. He has been for years, and that is saying something because there are really only I can really only think of one good referee in the Premier League. John Moss is the worst of the worst. He is awful. He is atrocious, and I still can't give you a reason for that whistle being blown. And to be honest, I don't even know if John Moss on this show would be able to as well. It's just baffling.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree totally. I don't get it either. A 2-on-2 situation, especially when the ball is for us, like the free kicks for us, makes no sense.
And I just want to one point on that too. If you look at the replay as well, Lingard already has the ball heading into that 2-on-2 situation. Then Moss lifts his arm up to his mouth to blow the whistle. So at first I thought, well, maybe he blew the whistle before Lingard got the ball. I don't know. I saw that Lingard had the ball for 2 or 3 dribbles. Then he blows the whistle. Yeah. Unbelievable. I don't know.
Shocking, mate. Honestly, is it? And we're going to get to something a bit later on before we wrap up regards to the ref. Obviously, Diop clears the ball off the line from Lacazette. Yeah. Lacazette goes through. Diop does a good clearance and basically stops that. Then they score, Arsenal. So it's 3-2 now to us. Callum Chambers comes down the side, right-hand side, fires the ball across. And then Craig Dawson, who's been one of our top boys for most of the season, and the last 2 games, 2 own goals. What was you thinking then at 3-2?
Yeah, I mean, don't blame Dawson, really. It's unfortunate, I think. That cross was rocketed in across the 6-yard, very difficult to deal with. You'd say maybe just blast it over the bar, but yeah, he can't let that one go, right? And if you look at the replay, Aubameyang's right behind him. He probably taps it in if he does. So, especially given the way that he has been playing for us, you can't really slate Dawson too much for that. What I will say is that you mentioned it came from Callum Chambers on the right side. I thought they attacked Cresswell all game long. I mean, if you look at all of their attacks, it was all on our left, their right side. I'm not saying Cresswell had a bad game, but it was one of those matches where he needed a bit of help. Putting a Masuaku there maybe as a fullback would have been. I mean, obviously couldn't have because given he's injured, but it would have been a perfect time for that. But yeah, Dawson a bit unlucky, and at 3-2, you're thinking, here we go.
Then we get to a couple of chances for us. We're going to start off with the Jared Bowen goes through. Kieran Tierney saves the day for them. Then Antonio has another chance and he saves the day again for them. But the big chance at 3-2 up that I'm going to get to is when Saeed Benrahma runs down into the box, gets to the byline, crosses it for Antonio, 3-4 yards out, he hits the post. Goals change games, Justin, and that if you score that goal, it's game over, isn't it? So what was you thinking then, mate?
Well, when that happened, I thought Arsenal's certainly going to equalize now. Certainly. I mean, those are the chances that you regret missing, and I don't think it's anyone's fault. Could Antonio have been 6 inches more towards the goal line? Sure. I mean, he made a good run and he stuck his leg out, and it just sometimes sport, just like in life, it just didn't work out. I will say, I think it was extremely unlucky. Antonio's been very unlucky. I remember him hitting the post several times throughout the season, as recently as the Manchester City match. And I do believe I read this stat a month or 2 ago. We've hit the post. We're definitely in the top. Yeah. Is it the most? Yeah. I think it's the most times. I mean, it's most been,
times. Yeah.
Yeah. So
unbelievable.
It's just unlucky. But I said to myself at that time, Arsenal are going to score here. They're going to equalize.
And then they did. Pepe goes down the right-hand side, crosses the ball in with his right foot when he's a left footer. Great ball in the box. Lacazette buries the header, 3-0. I just want to ask what you was thinking at 3-all. Did you think that we could possibly lose the game?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was only going to be one winner, in my opinion. And it was either going to be Arsenal or we were going to get a draw. So, yeah, absolutely. I was scared of losing that match. And, I'm honestly grateful for the point. It really sucks to say, given we were flying in the first 30 minutes, but grateful for the point because if that match goes on for 10 more minutes, we may be looking at a 0 points instead of 1.
Yeah. See, forged from my hands, I'm good friends with this man. Their attack breakdown: 32% down their right, 33 left, 35 centrally. However, all 3 goals come down the right. Great statistics there from Forge from Irons. Yeah, I just think they knew with Cresswell that pace kills him. And for how good Cresswell's been this season with assisting goals and all that, when you've got pace against him, he's not very good. And yeah, so basically then, Justin, we end up drawing the game 3-all. And people will say it's 2 points dropped, and people will say that we're gutted to lose. But on the balance of play, if you weigh up the whole match, they had chances, we had chances. We was good in the first half. They were very good in the second half. Would you say the draw was a fair result in the end?
I think you can make the argument that Arsenal deserved to win the game. As soccer is such a crazy game, such a crazy sport. I mean, if you look at it, really, for the first third, we were dominant, and then for the last 2/3 of the match, roughly, they were dominant. So you look at that and you say, I think a draw is a fair result to answer your question, but I don't think the argument that Arsenal deserved to win is. I think that's a fair argument to make. So yeah, all in all, glad we got the point.
Yeah. Well, what we're going to do now, Justin, is we're going to do like a little player ratings. I'm just going to ask you a rating out of 10 per player, and just a quick summary of the reasons why you're giving that rating, mate. So we will start off with Fabianski in goal.
Probably a 6. A lot of the goals. Or really, all 3 of the goals, he had no chance. Really, no errors. Pretty commanding in the box, and made a couple good punches out. Yeah, average performance for him. Give him a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10, mate. Kafal.
I don't know. Maybe a 7. I thought he had a good game. Who was playing over there on the left? Aubameyang. I thought he kept Aubameyang pretty quiet. They subbed him off as well. I know he hasn't had the year that he's had in years past, but he's still a world-class player, in my opinion, and kept him pretty quiet. Didn't hear his name too much. It's been a hell of a signing, that man. Hell of a signing, especially for £5 million. So I'll give him a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10, mate. Cresswell.
Again, yeah, the goals came on his side, although I don't really think he made any mistakes. Yeah, his pace isn't there. Can't keep up with Saka, or Saka, however you pronounce it. I thought he gave the effort. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. I don't think he had an awful game. Yeah.
I would say the second goal was a bit of he was a bit at fault for the second one. He weren't looking round at where Callum Chambers was. They took the quick free kick. He didn't see where Callum was, and by the time he looked, I don't even think he looked. The ball come over, and he realised he's there. And the time the ball come in, he was miles out of position. So yeah, I agree with you. Probably 6 for like fairness. Craig Dawson.
Yeah, I mean, he made a mistake, right? But again, I think it was a bit unlucky. I don't know. I'll give him a 6 too. I could probably give him a 5, but I'll give him a 6 just because I think besides that own goal, I thought he really didn't put a foot wrong. I'll give him a 6.
6. Diop.
Good Dieppe a 7. Thought he had a good game. One of his probably his best individual performance since he's taken over for Angelo. Made a goal saving clearance. It's probably the first game that he's been better than Dawson. So I thought he led the line well, and I think it was above average performance. 7.
Yeah, I agree with you there, mate. I thought he was the one I feared at the start of the game. But as the game went on, I thought he was all right. He got out of position a few times, but Arsenal are a good team. They're a good attacking team, and they do that to you. Souček.
Yeah, got a goal, didn't he? And an own goal, too. I think he quietly did his job. I'll give him a 7 because he got the goal. I don't think he did anything special, although he doesn't really do except score goals. He doesn't really. His game is just very simple, which makes him so valuable and so good. So I'll give him a 7, especially because he got the goal, and the own goal was extremely unlucky. I'll give him a 7.
Declan Rice.
Oh, I thought he played well. I mean, standard as per usual. That run that he made in the second half. I mean, if he would have scored that somehow, goal of the season candidate. I'd give him a 7. You could probably argue an 8. I'd give him a 7. And that's an average performance for him. So can't really say anything too much. It's just Declan Rice being Declan Rice.
Yeah, he was superb yesterday, mate. I thought he was one of our top players yesterday. He was everywhere. I'll give him a rating before, and I'll give him an 8. I thought he was phenomenal. I thought someone to say that run, if he scores that goal, that's one of the best goals you're ever likely to see. Running through the whole of a football team, basically. Yeah. So Jared Bowen.
Yeah, we were talking about him earlier. Got a goal. Wasn't pretty, but got a goal. Thought he played well. Let's say I give him a 7 too because he got that goal. Thought he was a little bit more convincing in his attack, a little more confident on the ball. Caused Arsenal a bit of problems, and hopefully that improvement. We can see that improvement moving forward over the last however many games are left. So I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I agree, mate. 100%. Said Benrahma.
Yeah, I think he had a fine game. I know people giving him slack on Twitter. I'll give him a 6. I think it was a fine game. Almost got an assist. He's missing that final quality, that final ball, that final shot. On the ball, he is probably our most skilled player with the ball at his feet. So the talent's there, and like Moyes has said countless times in the press conference, you just need to give him a little time. So I think he played fine. 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I felt for him yesterday. He puts the ball across the box, and the striker's supposed to put it away, and obviously the striker didn't. But we'll get on to him in a minute. But that's fair enough, mate. Jesse Lingard.
My man of the match for us. I actually think the man of the match was Odegaard for Arsenal. I thought he was absolutely superb. You can see why he's been with Real Madrid since he's 16 or whatever. Lingard, 8 out of 10. You could even say 9 out of 10 to be honest. A goal, a beautiful goal, and a really intelligent, smart assist as well. A bit quiet in the second half, as we all were. I'll give him an 8. Yeah, an 8 out of 10. Very good performance from him.
Not far. I agree with you, mate. Totally. Jesse Lingard, since he's come to his club, he's took us up to another level of talent. Do you know what I mean? So yeah,
you can see why he's been on Manchester United for nearly a decade. You can see the quality on the ball, the quality of the pass, the decision making. It's all there.
Yeah, do you know what? I couldn't agree with you more. And for Man United to let him go, it shows you how far high up they want to be batting. And if it is a must, and I say it quite clearly, it is a must that we sign this man in the summer.
Without a doubt,
he needs to be signed, sealed, delivered the first day of the transfer window. And I agree with you totally. The striker, Mikel Antonio. He assisted 2 goals.
Yeah.
And he missed a sitter. What's your summary of him?
I thought people were quite harsh on Twitter. Quite harsh. Yeah, 2 assists. Yeah, he missed a goal that probably 9 times out of 10 he makes. He had to stretch for it, and he was unlucky. I don't think it has anything to do with his effort or a mistake he made. I think it was unlucky. And we could easily criticize here. You know, it's a saying we have here in the States, Monday morning quarterbacking. You can look at all the highlights and where he's positioned on the pitch and everything and make all these criticisms, but the man's our best striker. He's scored in double-digit goals over the last – I think he scored double-digit goals last season. He could probably get it this season. He is only a handful away from being our Premier League all-time scorer. I mean, the man is a West Ham legend, in my opinion, and the grief that he gets sometimes on Twitter is unacceptable, especially in a game that he got 2 assists in, like you said. I give him a 7 out of 10. I give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he had a good performance, and if he got that goal, people would have been singing his praises. Instead, he's just a couple inches off the mark, and he gets a bunch of criticism. I don't get it.
I think he's the most unluckiest man going, mate. And don't get me wrong, I have that's the difference between 3 points and 4th to where we are now. Do you know what I mean? But that's fair enough, mate. If you're giving him a 7, I respect that. Now we're going to get on to a couple of other ratings. First of all, I want you to rate our manager for yesterday. The team selection, the subs he brought on, the people he took off. What are you thinking, Justin, out of 10?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I know he brought on.
He brought on Ryan Fredericks, and he brought on Mark Noble, and he subbed off Saeed Benrahma and Jared Bowen.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, they probably occurred in the 70th minute or later. So yeah, if you look at the team selection, I thought it was the team selection we all wanted, we all needed. His subs. I don't know why sometimes he doesn't use all 3 subs. I don't get it. Taking off Bowen and Benrahma. Yeah, I'd probably say a 7 out of 10, given that he set up the team correctly, which is a very important part. And it wasn't anything that he did or any of the. He didn't put players in a position to fail. That's not why we gave up 3 goals. We're a bit unlucky, lack of focus a bit, and the manager can't control that. The substitutions, I will say, I didn't really understand them, to be fair. I would have brought on Johnson as a left wing back, given Cresswell some help on that side. And then I would have taken off Benrahma, actually. I thought Bowen had the better game. I would have kept Bowen on the right and then just moved Lingard to the left wing and sort of play that 5 at the back, Souček and Rice in front of him, and then 2 wingers and Antonio. So, I mean, I'll still give Moyes a 7. That might be a bit high. Thought he set up the team well. And I know managers are paid for their substitutions, but I don't think that's the manager's fault today or yesterday.
Nah. Do you know what? I agree with you again, mate. 100%. I think the problem is with West Ham at the minute is the bench. The bench is light, and when we're relying on a 34-year-old and a player, a right back in Fredericks, who I'm not a fan of, personally, then it says it all, doesn't it? Let's be honest. So and finally, we're going to rate the referee's performance, right? And before we sort of rate this ref, remember he let us take a quick free kick in the first half. He didn't ball it back. Obviously, the Lingard thing in the second half was a big issue. Some of the decisions he was giving Arsenal in the second half were criminal. But Justin, give us a rating on the ref, please, mate.
Yeah, I mean that free kick. To be fair, I know some refs wouldn't have allowed it. To be honest, and I get why you mentioned that, but I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that free kick. That's a legal free kick. The ball wasn't rolling, and Bowen was onside. So, I don't want to give Moss too much of credit for that. I think, yeah, some of the decisions that there was maybe a 10 or 15-minute stretch. It really started with the whistle that we've been talking about, where we had advantage and he inexplicably blew it. The 15 minutes after that, several calls we didn't get, calls they got, that just didn't make any sense whatsoever. I do think he's the worst referee in the Premier League. I've said it for years. I'm gonna give him a 4 out of 10 just because I thought he was really, really poor in the second half. I'm not saying that we lost the lead because of him. I do not think that. You don't lose 3-0 leads because of a referee. But he did make some poor calls, and he did take a goal scoring opportunity away from us that shouldn't have been taken away. So 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. So on reflection of this game, Justin, moving forward, we have an international break now. And then we go and play Wolves on the Monday night. First of all, I'm going to ask you, yes or no, does Moyes stick with the same team that started at Arsenal? And I'm going to ask you this before we sort of wrap it up, is where do you think we're going to finish?
In the table?
Yeah.
Your first question, it's a good one. I don't know, because Wolves, well, they usually play with 3 at the back, but they may have been in a back 4. I don't know. I think he does. I think he certainly stays with the same formation. I don't think he goes to a 3 at the back. I think he sticks with 4 at the back. Especially against a Wolves team that has struggled to score, especially since Jimenez had that awful injury. Very glad to see he's okay. I would think that, yeah, he's going to go for a strong attacking lineup. If he looks at that lineup, I think you put the same lineup back out there. I don't think we're going to get 2 own goals again, right? You take away those 2 own goals, we win 3-1. Even though we didn't look great against Arsenal, Wolves aren't Arsenal also. So, yeah, I think, I mean, who knows what he's going to do, but if I'm David Moyes, I stick with the same lineup.
Yeah.
To answer your second question, where we're going to finish, yeah, I think we'll finish 7th. To be honest, evening, Andy. Yeah, I think we'll finish 7th. I don't think we'll finish top 4. I don't think we quite have the talent for it. But I'd say probably 5 wins from these last 9 or 10 matches, and I think 7th is at least 7th is ours. Maybe even 6th. So I'd say 7th. Anything top 7, I'm over the moon with.
Yeah, I agree, mate. It's going to be interesting. We've got 9 games to go, and hopefully, when I speak to you again in the near future, that we are looking at a win instead of a 3-3 draw. Do you know what I mean? Before we wrap it up, Justin, if you want to tell everyone where they can find you on social media and everything, and then we'll wrap it up, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and definitely looking forward to doing this again in the future, James. You're a great host. Appreciate it. At @just_Wasik. I think you can see it right there on Twitter. I also run a West Ham analytical focused account called Bubbles Stats, all one word. Run it with my friend Charlie. And that's where you can mainly find me. Do some Hammers Poll stuff as well too. So do some match previews, reviews, and some question videos as well. But yeah, those are. You can also, forgot to mention this earlier, but I write for Green Street Hammers as well, and you can follow them at Green ST Hammers on Twitter. A lot of great writers on there doing some good stuff. So, yep. Nice
one, Justin. Do you know what, mate? It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. It's really nice to meet you. It's good to hear that. It's good to have an opinion from Stateside, and I'll definitely have you on again, mate, for sure, 100%. I want to thank everyone who's watched, everyone who's in the chat, and basically, I know we started a bit early, but there was
that's my fault.
Issues. Yeah,
that's my fault.
time difference issues there, but obviously I'll rather start early and get it done, and so Justin can get on and have his say. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what it's all about. I want to thank everyone who's watched View from the Sidelines, Stateside. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Justin. And thanks a lot. And I'll catch up again with you again soon. Take care, man.
Thanks, everyone.